another session by Titans University. As usual, I'm grateful for you to being a part of the Titans University Google Ads program. Let's get started with another interesting discussion today. This session is going to talk specifically about AdWords bidding option, or the Google Ads bid strategies as you may call them. What is a bid? Bid is nothing but the amount of money you're willing to spend per click or per 1,000 impressions, or when a conversion is done on your website, depending upon what your preference is. If you want to bid in terms of clicks, it's called a CPC. If you want to bid for 1,000 impressions, it's called a CPM. And if you want to bid only when somebody converts on your website, it's called a CPA. That's a pricing model that you can choose when you advertise with Google Ads. But after that, how do you control the bids? How do you strategize the bids? How do you make sure that you get the most amount of returns for whatever you're spending on Google Ads? That's exactly where Google bidding options come. Bid strategies and bidding options are the crucial part of you being successful when it comes to Google Ads. First things first, let's try and define what Google Ads bidding is all about. Bidding is nothing but, here is the amount of money that I'm okay to spend to achieve my goal. When you create a Google Ads campaign, you would have to put in what your goal is. Are you looking at generating more traffic for your website? Are you looking at generating more sales or more leads or more video views or more app installs? So whatever is your goal that you want to achieve, you can use Google Ads or bidding options to make sure you control, you manipulate, you keep altering them until you get the best returns for your Google Ads. By now, you should have understood that this is not a one-time process. It's something that keeps going on, and you have to frequently start looking at the bidding options. By frequently, I don't mean that you go ahead and change the bids every day, but you set a bidding option, let it run for a week or so, and then look at how the returns are. Then decide whether to change the bid or to keep the bid or to change the bidding strategy as such. So Google Ads bidding, as I said, here is how much I want to invest or how much I can spend per click or per 1,000 impressions or when a conversion is done to achieve my goal. What are your goals again? Your goals can be traffic goals, it can be conversion related goals, it can be lead related goals, it can be app installs, it can also be video views that you would want to achieve when you run your ads on YouTube. Now, these are not all the goals, but these are most important goals, and you will see additional set of goals that you can achieve when you start running your Google Ads campaign.
All right. So now these can be your goals, that you can look at when you're trying to advertise on Google. Your goals can be traffic related goals. They can be conversions, leads, app installs, video views, etc. Just to reiterate the fact and help you understand how important these are, Google bids or Google ad bids are nothing but the amount of money that you're willing to spend per click or per 1,000 impressions, or when a conversion is being done on your website through the Google Ads that you're running. Alright, so let's move forward and let's look at what additional factors contribute or what additional factors are important for you to consider when you start looking at Google Ads. Alright, so Google Ads bidding options is what you see on your screen now. Bidding is basically broadly classified into manual bids and automatic bids. The name implies everything. I mean, manual bids is something that is manually controlled by an advertiser. Automatic bids are you use certain tools and strategies that Google helps you to help your ads get as much as they deserve, depending upon what the users are searching for and other factors. So we would be looking at each of these things in detail, but this is how manual bidding works. When you create your Google Ads campaign, let's say I've created a campaign, you will decide how much do you want to spend per click. For example, if I want to spend 20 cents per click when my ads are running, Google will make sure it will only charge you a maximum of 20 cents. There is a possibility it can charge you less than that if it is not required to spend 20 cents. Maybe it will start charging 18 cents depending upon the competition. But when the competition is more and when the stake is high, you may be charged 20 cents. However, in situations where all the other advertisers or your competitors are spending 50 cents, what would happen? What would happen in this situation? Now, this is a situation that you don't want to be in because everything else is good, but just because you're not spending enough or you're not willing to bid enough for your keywords, your ads may not be showing in the top positions or in the first page. Now, this is something where you will have to manually keep monitoring your ads frequently, every day if possible, and then start making these changes depending upon what the traffic is, where your ads are showing, how many clicks you're getting. Looking at these stats every day, you will have to manually make these changes, and hence the name manual bidding. On the other hand, automatic bidding is classified into these types, these 6 types that you see here. There is SB written against some of these bidding options. I will tell you what that SB stands for in a while. But before that, but let's look at automatic bidding as a whole, and let's try and understand what it means. Target CPA. Now, this is one sort of automatic bidding. Then you have maximize clicks. Then you have maximize conversions. Then you have target impression share. Then you have target ROAS. ROAS stands for return on ad spend. So this basically stands for what your returns on your ad spends are. For example, if you're spending $5 and if you want a return of $10, so your ROAS is 200% because you exactly want twice the amount of money that you're spending. Now, if you're spending $5 and if you want $100, now that's 20 times, right? So that's 2000%. So this can be 200, 300, 400%. I will also show you what the maximum ROAS that you can choose for. Now, when you select the return on ad spend, Google will try and make sure it will try and give you conversions worth so much. Let's look at all these things in detail as we move forward. Now, let's start with the basic format of the automatic bidding, which is maximize clicks. Now, while choosing the automatic bidding option, if you want to maximize your clicks for the money that you're spending, Google will automatically make sure it will start bidding higher where Google sees a scope for getting you more clicks, and it will increase your bids there. If the chances of getting your clicks are less, it will start automatically reducing your budgets. Why is it called as automatic bidding? Because without your manual intervention, looking at the history of data and the traffic that's coming in, using machine learning and other parameters and other technological aspects, Google will increase or decrease your bids based upon what your goal is. If you select maximize goals, Google will only focus on altering your bids in such a way that you get the maximum amount of clicks possible for the amount of money that you're spending. That's maximize clicks. Similarly, there is something called as maximize conversions. Maximize conversions is nothing but if you are spending $10 per click, that's your bid, right? Now $10 is your bid. For a $10 bid, Google will try and give you as many conversions as possible because your goal here is to maximize conversion. The bidding strategy that you have chosen is maximize conversions, which means you're telling Google, please make sure that in this bid that I am bidding at, which is $10, try and get me as many conversions as possible. So what Google does is it will automatically increase your bid where it saw a history of conversions increasing for a particular keyword. If the conversions are not coming in for a particular keyword, it will automatically decrease the bid and it will charge you less than $10. So here it's maximizing conversions and here it's maximizing clicks. Now moving forward, there are certain very, very interesting aspects called as enhanced CPC. Now this can be a hybrid between manual bidding and automatic bidding. The way enhanced CPC works is you will say that I am willing to spend, let's say, $5 as bid for my keywords. Now, when Google sees a scope to get more clicks for your bid that you have suggested, Google will automatically increase the bid, and where it sees a lesser scope for clicks coming in, it will reduce the bid. So, enhanced CPC is kind of a hybrid between or a combination of manual and automatic bidding. How is it manual? Because you are specifying that $5 is the bid that I am willing to spend, not more than that. So Google is making sure it does not exceed $5, but at the same time, under $5, where there is a scope for conversion, it will increase the bid. Where there is no scope for getting a click or a conversion, it will reduce the bid. So that's your enhanced CPC. The options that we are left with now is target CPA, target return on ad spend, and target impression share. Now, CPA stands for cost per acquisition. Acquisition is nothing but a conversion, right? A conversion can be anything. It can be a sale, it can be a sign up, whatever is your goal. What do you want the user to do on your site? Do you want him to buy something? Do you want him to sign up for something? Do you want him to view something? All these can be conversions. Now, target CPA says that for each conversion that I'm getting in, let's backtrack. Let's say I'm selling a book worth $10, right? Now, for me to make a profit, I should be bidding less than $10, right? Because if Google is charging me less than 10 for the conversion, I'm making a profit. So let's say Google says it's charging you 6%, $6. Now, what is the profit that you have on your conversion? It's $4, right? Now, with this thought, you said, all right, so at a target CPA of $6, if I am willing to, so this is the price of my book, right? This is the price of my product. Now, this is the bid that I'm willing to spend. Now, in your mind, you're thinking that if I'm spending $6 per conversion, I'm not talking about clicks, I'm talking about conversions, which means for a sale to happen on your website, Google is charging you $6. What is the price of your product? It's $10. So, what is the profit margin that you're left with? $4. Based upon this thought process, you said, fine, this works for me. $6 is my target CPA. If I am getting, or if Google is getting me a conversion for $6, I'm okay to spend $6. So what is your target CPA? What is the target price that you have to get a conversion in your mind? It's $6. So you will go ahead and choose $6 as your target CPA, and Google will show your ads in such a way that you get as many conversions as possible at your target CPA, which is $6. Now, this is specified by you. Target CPA is specified by you. What is Google doing? Using artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, and depending upon the history of your advertising data, wherever there is a conversion happening for a particular keyword, it will increase the bid. If it is not happening for that particular keyword, it will reduce the bid. Who is Google helping actually? It's helping you to get as many conversions as possible at a target CPA of $6. Similarly, target return on ad spend is simple. So you specify what's the ad return that you want. For every $1 that I'm spending, I need $2 in return. So how much is the target ROAS here? It's a 100% return that you want, right? Oh, sorry, it's a 200% return that you want. So for $1, you need twice the amount of returns. So if it's 3%, it's 300%. If it's $4 that you would want to get in return, it's 400%. So you can specify what target returns are you expecting for your ad spend. Is it 100% of your spend? Is it 200% of your spend? Is it 300, 400, whatever, right? So if my guess is correct, you will spend up to the maximum amount that you can ask Google to give you a return on ad spend is 900%. Let's look at that when we look into the account in real time. So that's your target return on ad spend. So based upon whatever your specifications are, your goals are, whatever pricing methodology you have in mind, Google will automatically increase the bids where it's required, reduce the bids where it is not required. So that is all your automatic bidding is all about. Now, what is target impression share? Now, this is kind of important because this leads to another discussion which I will talk to you in a second. Target impression share is nothing but how much are you willing to bid, or how much should I bid for my ad to show on the top positions? What are the top ad positions of Google? Top ad positions are the ads that show in the first page, because there is no other ad above the first page ads, right? Because that's the most important, highest possible placement for your ad. So how much should I spend so that my ad is there at the top of the page, right? Or in the first page? There is another metric which is absolute top of the page, which means in the first position. If I want my ad to be shown in the first position, how much should I spend? So you have these options. On the first page is one, and on the absolute top of the page is something that you can also choose. Now, while doing that, or when Google is doing that, what are the factors that it considers is what we would be looking at. All right, so for Google to do that, to make sure Google shows your ads at a particular position, whether it's top of the page or on the first page, Google looks at these metrics: geographic location that you're targeting, time of the day, what time is it? Is it at the end of the day, middle of the day, beginning of the day, whatever? What device is the audience searching for? What is your targeted audiences? Who have you targeted? It looks at the browsing behavior of the users. What is the intent behind what they're searching for? What is the expected CTR for your ad? So based upon, we don't really have to delve into all these things, but I'm just telling you that based upon all these factors here, Google decides which position or which target impression share do you want to achieve. Do you want to show on the first page or on the absolute top of the page? So that's what this metric talks about. Now, while these are the bidding strategies, this is only a discussion about how these strategies work in real time and how they're applied. But we also need to look at what strategies and what hacks can you use to make sure you get the most out of your bidding strategies. Now, before I actually show you things in real time using an AdWords account, I would really want to show you something in detail about all of these bidding options that we have discussed. Alright, now maximize clicks is the bidding option that you see here. This is a screenshot from the Google support, guys. Google support is nothing but the Google Help Center, just like a forum where all Google Ads related questions are mentioned, defined, examples are given. This is like a very good study material for you. And by the way, for this session, you will also receive a reference manual for you to go ahead and please go back and refer to. So this is from Google support. Right? Now, what are we doing? We're talking about maximize clicks. It automatically sets your bid to help as many clicks as possible within your budget. Maximize clicks is available as either a standard strategy or a portfolio bid strategy. Don't pay too much of attention to what a standard strategy and a portfolio bid strategy is all about. Standard strategy is where you go to each campaign and define a strategy, right? So whatever you define is applicable only to that particular campaign. Now, portfolio bid strategy is something that's reusable. You define a strategy and you can use it for any campaign at any point in time across campaigns. It's like something that's saved that you can reuse it, right? Okay. Now, increase visibility, which is target impression share. To make sure your ads are getting all the visibility that they need, your ads should show either on the top page or either on the first page or on the top of Google page search results at the absolute top, right? So it automatically sets bids with the goal of showing your ad on the absolute top of the page, or on the top of the page, or anywhere on the page of Google search results. Anywhere on the top Google search results mean your ad showing on the first page of Google. It is showing on the top of the page means it's showing on any of the 3 ads that show at the top. Showing at the absolute top of the page means your ad is showing in the top position. The first ad that you see will be yours. So you will have to bid different amounts for this and this and this. So you decide what you want, right? If you want to show at the absolute top of the page, which is the first listing, you bid according to that. Target impression share is available on the search network, right? As either a standard or portfolio. It is not applicable on display campaigns, for example. Can somebody tell me why? Can you think about it and tell me why is it that the functionality to show my ad at the absolute top of the page not available in the display network? It's simple, guys. Give it a thought. I'll hold this for another 15-20 seconds. I want you to think. Why is this functionality to show ad at the top of the page only applicable in the search network? I'll leave you for 15 seconds. Think about it. Alright, the reason is very simple. Search is activated when people are searching for keywords. When keywords are searched, your ads show on Google, right? So this is where Google ads are shown in a particular order. But display is slightly different because display ads are not shown on Google, they're shown on somebody else's websites as either image ads or text ads on their website. And the position where your ad is showing on somebody else's website, first is not in your control. It's not even in Google's control. And it doesn't make a difference because you're talking about display network. So for that reason and that reason only, this functionality is only available for the search network only. All right. Get more conversions with your target CPA, right? Target CPA automatically sets search and display bids to help get as many conversions as possible at the target cost that you have defined. In our example, we have defined that $6 is a good conversion price for me because the price of my book is $10, $4 is my profit margin. So if with that example, $6 is my target CPA. So you choose $6, Google will make sure it gets you as many conversions as possible at that $6 target CPA. Meet a target return on ad investment, which is ROAS. Automatically sets bid to help as much conversion value as possible to the target return on ad spend, whether it's 100%, 200%, whatever it is. Alright, so get more conversions while spending your budget. Maximize conversions is automatically sets bid to help you get the most conversions for your campaign while spending your budget, right? I'm spending X, but please get me as many conversions as possible. So Google automatically manipulates the bids to get you as many conversions as possible. So I'm holding on to this conversion value at this point in time because I don't want to confuse you now. We will talk about it when we speak about conversion tracking going forward. All right. So at this point in time, you need to remember that conversion is nothing but a desired activity that you want users to perform on your website. What is a conversion for you? If you're like Amazon.com, your conversion is sale. If you are an educational training company like me, for example, somebody who registered as a lead is important. If you are somebody who is an events company, somebody who signs up for your event is good. If you are somebody who is a software as a service, again somebody who signs up for your trial version or your free account is somebody who is a conversion for you. Basically, conversions are nothing but what activity do you want people to do on your website. If a particular activity is done, then it's called as a conversion. So these are different strategies that I had in mind, which I wanted to talk to you about when it came to Google Ads bidding options. If you hold on for a second, I really wanted to talk about something else. A quick snapshot of what each of these mean, right? Alright, so I told you don't worry too much about standard campaign strategy and portfolio bid strategy, right? You can use maximize clicks, for example, for a single campaign, which means if you're using maximize clicks as a bid strategy for a campaign, it is called as standard strategy. If you want to create a strategy and if you want to reuse it for all the campaigns in the account or whenever you need, it's called as portfolio bid strategy. Don't worry too much about that. Alright, so this is maximum clicks, where you define a maximum limit. You say $10 is my maximum limit that I want to spend as a bid for a click, and at this price I want to get as many clicks as possible. So what Google does is it sets a cap on the bids when trying to maximize clicks by bid strategy. It lets you control the amount you're willing to pay for each click. If you don't enter a maximum amount, Google Ads adjusts your bid to try and get you as many clicks as possible while spending your budget. Now this is very important. If you don't define the maximum CPC, if you don't tell Google that $10 is my maximum CPC, Google can go ahead and even bid $100 per click because you have not put in a cap. You need to put in a cap, which is a maximum CPC bid limit, when you're working with maximize clicks option. All right. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about is something which is similar. Which is target impression share. What is target impression share? Target impression share is nothing but where do you want your ad to show up? Do you want to show, let me draw here and show you, for example. Forgive my straight lines, but okay. Now this is google.com. Somebody searches for books. There is an ad here, there is an ad here, there is an ad here. These are all the free listings. There is an ad here, there is an ad here, there is an ad here, right? So there are 6 ads in total. Now showing ads on at the top, there is showing ads at the absolute top. There is this thing called ads, showing ads on. There is this thing called as showing ads on the top of the page. There is this thing called as ads showing at the absolute top of the page, and there is this thing called showing ads on the first page. You can choose between any of these options when you're working with target impression share bidding option. If you want to show on the first page, if your Google ads, on your Google ads, Google will try and show you your ads on anywhere on the first page. If you tell Google that I want to show it on the top of the page, it can show you your ad anywhere between these slots. If you tell Google that I would want my ad to show up on the absolute top of the page, which means Google will try and show your ad only at the top position. So that's how target impression share works. Alright, so then moving on, we have target ROAS bidding. We looked at this about what is the percentage of return that you're expecting. Yeah, there are certain interesting things that you need to look at it. If you want to remember target ROAS clearly, you can remember this as X to 5X, right? Now X is how much you're spending, 5X is how much you're expecting in return. This 5 can be anything, it can be 5, 10, 20, whatever. So what amount of return are you expecting when you're running ads on Google is called as target ROAS. But for you to go ahead and use this targeting option, automatic bidding option, there are certain conditions that you need to match. Just look at this. Most of the campaigns need 20 conversions in the last 45 days, which means in the last 45 days you should have at least 20 conversions on your Google Ads account. It could be sale, lead, sign up, whatever. But search campaigns specifically need only 15. If you have 15 conversions in the last 30 days with a search campaign, you can start using your ROAS bidding option. But Google suggests to get maximum out of it, to have a better understanding of the system, because the system needs to understand your account and the history. Google suggests that you have at least 50 conversions in the last 30 days. So this is something to pay attention to when you're working with your ROAS ad spends. All right. Next thing is target CPA, which is what is the amount of what is your bid amount that you're okay to spend to achieve your conversions. The same $6 and $10 example helps you understand this better. All right. So let's move forward and see if there is any other thing. Maximize conversions. So if you're looking at maximize conversions, bid adjustment and maximize conversions, it automatically sets bids to help get most conversions for your campaign while spending your budget. It will not alter your spends, it will not change anything. But if you tell Google that I want maximum conversions, but this is my spend. In $100 that I'm spending, please make sure now $100 is my budget per day. In this budget, get me as many conversions as possible. I'm not bothered about clicks, I'm just bothered about conversions. So Google looks at the history, Google goes back, looks at the history, and the history says, let me draw it here. Let's say the history that Google has about your account. The history says a keyword called A converts better if you in the past. Keyword B did not convert at all in the past. So it will automatically increase the bid for A because your goal is to maximize conversions, and it will decrease the bid for B because in the past B did not convert well. I'm saying this very simply, but it involves a lot of data analysis. Google has very, very powerful systems that use machine learning and predictive analytics, etc. So using those things, it will decide whether it's worth increasing the bid or not. All right. Is there anything else that we have? Let me quickly go through this. Target CPA is done. Smart bidding. All right. This whole concept where Google bids. This whole concept where Google increases the bids when required and Google decreases the bid when it is not required or when there is not high possibility of conversion is called as smart bidding, right? So smart bidding simply tells you that if there is a chance for conversion or to achieve your goal, Google will increase your bid. If the chances of achieving your goal are less, Google will go ahead and decrease your bid. It's as simple as that, right? Now this methodology where Google increases or decreases your bid is called as smart bidding, and smart bidding is applicable to target CPA, target ROAS, maximize conversions and maximize conversion value, which we would be talking about later. We have not looked at this yet. So smart bidding is a concept where Google increases or decreases your bid based upon whether the chances of achieving your goal is high or not. And if you start looking at the image that I showed you in the beginning, where I said, if you remember the image that I showed you in the beginning when we looked at this picture about something called as SB. Now SB here is is smart bidding. So whenever there is a conversion involved, here this is a conversion based bidding, this is conversion based bidding, this is conversion based bidding, here also you're bidding for conversion. So whenever there is a conversion based bidding, smart bidding comes into picture, right? Smart bidding, for the one last time that I'm telling you, it is a possibility of Google increasing or decreasing your bids based upon the chances of achieving your goal. As simple as that. Alright, so that's about Google Ads bidding options that you have and how you can make sure that you get the maximum out of your ad spends. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you have any questions, please feel free to write to me. As I promised, you will also receive a reference manual for you to go back and refer to when you're confused. If you still have questions, do not hesitate. Just write to me and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for being patient. I can't thank you enough for being a part of Titans University. My name is Casey, your coach, signing off.